Hi, welcome to ImmortaTech Solutions. My name is Michael Immordino. I'm here today to give you a tour of the lab, so if you're ever getting future computer repairs or refurbished computers, you know where they're from. Right here in New Jersey. So first on our tour is my Ender 6 3D printer made by Creality. So in addition to refurbishing and fixing computers, we also make 3D printed parts such as this tape dispenser here that I got. This vintage tape dispenser that didn't have a wheel, so this wheel is actually custom made right here that I designed. So I'm able to 3D print things and do 3D design work. And also we make drive bay accessories and for different desktop applications and other computer parts. So this is my nice printer right here. And yeah, there it is. Now to the next step. So next, we're going over here to, let me just turn this off real quick. It's going to start. Continuing on our tour, we have a custom-built computer for a customer here, so that they can run multiple monitors. So as you see here, we have a nice gaming case with the glass side panel, and this is our finished area right here on this nice countertop with the tabletop I made. And then going on further, we have some machines that we could use to benefit customers in their repair needs and refurbishment needs. So this duplicates hard drives, so it's as if when we do a drive upgrade, it's as if we never did anything. Then as we go on, we have our vintage computer display over here. Different Dell computers from the 90s and Apple Macintosh computers and Commodore accessories, as well as test benches for testing desktops and diagnosing them, and CD duplicators for data for customers, and older hard drive duplicators. And next we'll show you a job we have coming up and some other technology we have here. And next we have our different tools that we have, which include different various pliers, screwdrivers, different pry tools to open laptops, things like that, different cleaning instruments, and we also have tons of parts for customers such as fans. This is off a Corsair gaming computer, for example, and CPU coolers, which keep your processor cool in the computer, and these all keep your computer cool, as well as upgrade cards. If you need more USB ports, that's an example. And we also have computer cases for custom builds for customers, and if you look over here, we have tons of 90s machines that we also do sell on eBay and locally for people in need of vintage computing for various application uses and other things. And this is our laptop cart here. And as you can see, we love our magnets here. All different places I've gone, things like that. And this allows us to basically keep our laptops nice and organized, as you'll see here. So we always have refurbished laptops. As you can see, we have like HPs and things like that. But where do the HPs go when they're done being refurbished? This is just storage, of course. Well, to answer that, we'll go over here now. So as you see here, we have our refurbished computers in the ready pile, as we see. And then we also have other ones that are waiting for parts and other issues. So as we see here, this is what a refurbished ImmortaTech product looks like. And all these laptops in particular, due to we test their batteries and everything else like that, and these all have new batteries. So as you see, that looks like a new laptop, doesn't it? Speaking of new batteries, let's show you our next. But well, before we go to that, actually, let me show you what we have down here. This big boy also wipes drives. So this is a big desktop I custom built for wiping hard drives. So if you look at this big guy right here, it has tons of RAM and everything like that. And then we have our little test bench set up here for testing DVD drives and floppy drives for older computers. As you can see by these big old cables here. Here's the modern ones for comparison if you want to see the size difference. Which is kind of cool about this computer. It does have capabilities for both. So now we're going on to the next step. And I'll show you in just a second. So now that we're sitting down and I've given you a tour of the shop, I'm going to introduce my friend Matt from college, who's helping me with the videography on this. Alright, and we're going to talk about this customer's laptop here. So, and Matt may chime in to ask a few questions. So, I already have this laptop open here, and this is a customer's laptop. You can see there's not even a scratch on it. They're very particular with their laptop, so I respect that, and I have cloths down to protect it. So, as you can see here, we already did a drive upgrade to a solid-state drive, and it's going to be really fast for them now.
How much faster is it going to be?
At least double the speed.
Oh, great.
So if you ever have a slow computer, reach out to ImmortaTech Solutions.
Yeah.
So, also, these are supposed to be flat batteries. They shouldn't have, as you can see here, bubbles on them.
Right.
And I'll show you, here's our new battery, for example. After going to the drive upgrade, I don't like to upsell, but I had to let them know that this was prematurely failing. Well, not prematurely, it's in 2019, but you get the point. It's a 6-year-old battery, but...
Right. How much do they last usually?
5 years on average. Depends how much it's used.
Oh, okay.
And with this customer, they always leave the computer plugged in. You want to use the computer's battery and leave it plugged in. So you want to try to rotate. You don't want to always leave it plugged in or always just use the battery. You know, like you want to have a nice balance.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, I don't know if you guys can clearly see on camera. Matt, can they see on camera?
Yeah.
Do you see the difference here?
Yeah, definitely.
And we got them an HP genuine battery right here.
Very nice.
And that's going to be the replacement. So I have this away. So, and if you look in here, this is a very clean computer, but obviously I always check to see, well, is it clean in here? You know, does everything look in order? And everything looks excellent in this computer. It's like brand new.
Very nice.
So we're going to put the battery in. And we take pride in not losing any screws or anything like that. And if we do, we have our lovely screw trays here, all nicely labeled.
Wow, that's
screws and.
Well, you got a lot of screws there, man. Wow.
Yeah, I know. You gotta have a lot of screws.
Wow.
Even like home improvement things. I got wire nuts.
Watch out, Home Depot, right?
Yeah. All right, so we got the battery in now. Now I just gotta look for my screws, which I have in this little nifty bin right here.
Very nice.
And depending on how much we have to take apart, sometimes we'll even have a labeled container.
Cool.
So in the future, hopefully you guys can see that. And I got something coming down the pike I think you guys will really enjoy.
Nice.
Can we get the world's weakest laptop to run some modern operating system, such as Windows 10
man.
or 11?
Are we going to do that in this video? I think that'll be a next video, right?
Yeah, that will be next video, but I got to give you guys a little cliffhanger there.
Wow, cool. I'm already excited for that.
So I have my nice iFixit tool set, and this is not sponsored or anything, but I like to use their tool set because I can actually buy bits for when I inevitably lose the one Phillips bit that I always use.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
I had another brand of screwdriver, and they didn't sell bits for it. I went on their website, everything, nothing.
Right.
So now we're going to affix the battery into the case of the computer. And as you can see here, always ask your technician, is there any other upgrades I could do to it? For example, this computer also has M.2 solid state drive upgrades, which is basically, for in English terms, not in jargon, this is for another drive. You can have another drive here.
No, that's so interesting.
So if you want extra storage or you want even faster, because I believe that these are actually faster than these older types of drives, and you can see the size difference as well.
Right.
But for this customer, I don't think they'll notice much of a difference compared to coming from a hard drive that was the slowest hard drive sold for this machine.
Oh, okay.
It took them, I think, 15 minutes to get onto the computer, and they just wanted to store their photos and do basic web browsing and pay their taxes.
Yeah.
But here at ImmortaTech Solutions, we do have a very diverse range of use cases, depending on if they just want to do basic stuff like that, or we have a tax business that we help as well, and they need the latest version of Windows to maintain security.
Oh, cool. So really, a battery swap out's pretty simple. You kind of just like...
Yeah, that's not the hard part. The reason most customers come to me for this is because, as you can see here, lots of screws,
yeah.
very delicate rubber feet over here,
Right.
and then you got to make sure you don't lose any of these screws, and you got to pry this off. It's not just like an old computer where you just pull the battery out. It's underneath all of this, and you got to make sure you don't crack the plastic casing.
Right.
So, we'll put this back on, then we firmly go around, gently but firmly, make sure that all the ports are lining up. As you can see, this laptop is mint. This thing is very clean, and
Looks like it still works good.
oh, it does, except for the slowness.
Right.
And they were very confused. They asked me, Michael, why is this computer so slow? I never misused it. I barely use it, matter of fact. And I said, it's just that the better drive technology that I put in this was out there, but I think that it was that to give you 2 terabytes of storage back then was more cost effective to buy a hard drive for the manufacturers such as HP.
Right.
So unfortunately, the user suffers, especially when they get a lot of pictures and other things on there, and everything just starts slowing down.
Right.
Not that the pictures necessarily slow it down, but the combination of everything that's installed on the computer over time is what slows it down.
Hey, what do you call that? What do you call those? Do you call the rubber part? Do you call those feet or like?
Yeah, they're like rubber stoppers or feet. Yep.
Yeah.
So they never stick perfectly down. I always let customers know of that because of me having to remove them. Most customers don't mind.
Yeah. Sometimes you find screws under there, right?
Yes, that's why a lot of customers will break the device not realizing that, oh, there's screws under there.
Right.
And then we have our DVD drive here with the nice matching copper. First copper HP I've ever seen. That's pretty interesting.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to put our DVD drive back in.
Cool.
Sometimes there could be screws under here as well. So you got a lot. There's a lot. That's why they pay me to do this, because there's a lot of little pitfalls that could occur to someone that's doing this.
So yeah, you definitely got to be serious with computers, man.
You got to be very delicate and very persistent.
Absolutely.
So now we have our screws here organized. I know that the 3 here, even if I didn't label them, I know that they go in these 3 spots because there's also 3 here. So
cool.
Yep. So actually, no, that would be for these 3 because these 4 are right here.
Get a close up of that.
So yeah, now we're just screwing it in. You don't want to go too tight, but and actually these 2 screws right here actually help to hold the hard drive in.
That's interesting. Why do you want to not do it too tight?
Because plastic is, especially as it gets older, it gets brittle. So you want to be careful with it. This one's not that old. I think this computer's from 2019.
Right.
So the fact that the computer's only 6 years old, is that slow?
Right.
It's very disappointing for me to hear that from a customer.
Right. Right.
And I had a customer recently that, and I never say customer names or anything. I keep confidentiality, of course, but
right.
Their computer, they were backing it up, and they hadn't backed it up in 5 to 10 years.
No,
and they had everything that was important to them on there. And then both the backup drive and the hard drive failed at the same time simultaneously.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
At the same time?
And I felt bad because this guy was on tour as a veteran.
Yeah.
And he finally came home and he wanted to use his computer and he started backing it up and everything like that. And it died on him. We figured out that his 20 terabyte backup drive, which is an excellent size of storage, he paid hundreds of dollars for this.
Right.
Was actually okay. But the thing that you plug into your computer with the USB was actually what failed.
Oh, wow.
Maybe because of the hard drive failure, I'm not really sure. Technology's not always predictable. I'll be honest with my customers and tell them sometimes I'm not sure why that occurred, but all I know is it's broken now, so we have to fix it.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm not really rough with the computer, and I'm like, no, I understand. He's like, I didn't break it or anything, and I'm like, no, you didn't. Sometimes it's a mechanical drive. It's a spinning disc. They fail. It's a mechanical device.
Right, right.
So now we have the computer all back together.
Awesome.
The one part of the drive duplication process, which you saw that machine earlier over there, is that sometimes has to figure out its drivers. So the first time we power this machine on, it may blue screen once, and then from there, once it figures itself out and gets all the drivers set up, it'll work fine. So,
okay, cool.
Let's see the speed on this thing now. And it's not the first time we turn it on, it's not always going to be the fastest, obviously. We want to make sure everything clipped together.
Right, so we got to kind of expect that.
Because it needs to figure out driver differences between the 2 drives.
Right.
And it's saying CMOS checksum invalid because we put a brand new battery in, and these computers do not have a CMOS battery, which basically keeps the time of the computer and some settings and things like that. And a CMOS battery, if you're wondering, looks like this. Little coin cell battery, CR2032. Everybody has it.
Yeah, you can get them laptops. Anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or laptops sometimes have these weird ones with like the little cord on them. So let's see how fast this thing is with the new battery and the new solid-state drive, which is not a mechanical device, but instead a digital device. And you see, yep, it's figuring itself out. So usually it happens once or twice, and then it figures itself out. And if not, then we'll rerun it again. But that's only happened once ever. So it copies every partition of the drive. So once this restarts, we'll be good to go.
All right.
So let's just give it a minute, and we'll show you then. Let me just check everything out here. It looks good. So as we see here, it's restarting right now. And let's see that raw speed now.
Nice.
Wow. Before it used to take her 15 minutes to use this computer.
Yeah, that's
and now, responsive as anything.
Big difference.
Well, thanks for tuning in to ImmortaTech Solutions with Mike and Matt. And hope you have a blessed night and day. Thank you.